What's up, everyone? What's going on? Welcome back. If you couldn't tell from that intro there, this is a very special race for Wheelersburg Raceway. This is their 30th anniversary race, the Dirty 30. To be around for 30 years is something to be really proud of, especially for a racetrack, especially in this day and age, and especially in karting. Tracks come and go all the time. Karting has changed a ton since the 90s whenever Wheelersburg opened. And they're still at it. They're still going strong. They're still drawing big kart counts and having big races. And I think that's something to be really proud of. You know, a lot of these tracks that opened up in the 90s, they're gone now. The owners have either retired or sold it off, or it's been, you know, leveled for whatever reason. And Wheelersburg is still trucking right along, and they have no signs of slowing down. And that's really awesome. You know, they're still getting big kart counts. And, you know, it just goes to show how much time and care and effort Missy and Phil Coleman have put into this place. You know, it is one of the best facilities. It's the best track surface in the state, bar none, by a lot. They run a good show. They treat everyone fair. It doesn't matter who you are, or if you come in the back of a pickup truck or with a toter home. They're going to make what call they think is right, and they're going to handle things the way they think they should, and they're going to own up to it. And I think that's great. And I think that's part of the reason why they've been around for so long. You know what I mean? I've raced there for a very, very long time. I started there in 2001. We ran every single weekend from 2001 to 2007. Then we took a big break. Then we came back. Then we took another big break. And I'm really happy to be back. I got a lot of really fond memories at Wheelersburg. I got a lot of not so fond memories at Wheelersburg. You know, I got my first win there, my first championship there, my first wreck there, my first flip there, my first DQ there. Hell, at one point I was kicked out of that place and banned. We weren't allowed to race there at all. But I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad that they are still going strong, and I think this should be a good race. I'm really excited to go. Every time, you know, we go there now, it brings back a lot of really good memories, especially since we hadn't been there in so long before this year. You know, we go over those railroad tracks, and it's like whenever I flash back to whenever I was a kid, you know, sitting in the van with Gramps, getting all nervous and excited and jittery, you know, and we pull in, and I don't really get nervous anymore or jittery or anything, but it still kind of feels the same going over those railroad tracks. It all comes flashing back to me. So it's really cool that they're still around, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. So I hope you all enjoy this video, and give a big shout out to Phil and Missy for going at it for 30 years and keeping this place open, keeping it up to date, keeping up with the trends, keeping the kart counts up, and just, you know, giving us somewhere to race for so long. You know, the highs and the lows, they've kept at it all these years, and I think that's something to really be proud of. So big shout out to Wheelersburg Raceway, Phil and Missy Coleman. I hope you all enjoy this video.
Wheelersburg Raceway for the Dirty 30. And I want to get a shot of the victory podium for the Dirty 30 for the big race here at Wheelersburg on October the 11th, 2025. Track's looking nice. It's gonna be tacky though. And they are drivers meeting bound. It's probably what, about 2:30 in the afternoon. Kirst stealing stuff, so's Alex. What on earth? We got candy. And the drivers meeting crowd. Alex is down there somewhere. And Alex will be running clone medium and clone heavy. Here's the newest gear guard he bought. And here's the kart he's running in both classes today. try to get a shot of some of the sponsors, Overdrive Designs, Plain Motion, Food Shop, of course, Ducky. Heavy qualifying 10/11/2025. Alex should be coming out about 2 more groups.
Ron Rollins took his way at the 8th position. Kelly Flanagan at 41 right behind. SP9. Ian Killing third quick for the 10.7.03. Alex Hamilton right behind. Cracks the fast forward 10.7.04.
think I had a pretty decent night. Kart felt pretty good in hot laps, but it was a little loose coming out of 4, which I think was the track. Honestly, it was pretty cool and pretty damp early, and then it, they got a lot of laps on it and it dried out and everything. Qualified like dog do for medium for some reason. The kart didn't feel too bad. It was just we were really slow. I think I qualified 19th out of 25, which honestly is normal for me. I always qualify awful. But I was able to finish 11th in that race. We went forward, made a couple passes, lucked into some spots as obvious, but the kart wasn't very good. It started off pretty okay, but it got tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter as that race went on. And by the end of the race, I just was kind of cranked going into 3. I always felt pretty good in 1 and 2, but it just kept getting really, really tight going into 3 as the race went on. So obviously that cost speed and, track position and everything else. But I went 19th to 11th, made a couple passes and obviously lucked into some. So that was a pretty good run there. Heavy is a whole different story. I somehow pulled a 5th place qualifying effort out of my ass. Don't know how. That kart was absolutely perfect for qualifying. Ian Keeling qualified 4th at an 10.703, and I had a 10.704, so we were really, really close on time. I almost had me a 4th, but qualified 5th, which was awesome. I kind of figured I was going to get murdered out there. I'm not used to qualifying that good or starting up front or really being up there in the mix and racing with these fast guys and these big guys, you know what I mean? So as expected, like lap 1, lap 2, pretty early, I got just absolutely rooted out of the way and I fell back to 10th or 11th or something like that. But I kind of found my rhythm and found my groove, and I was able to make a couple passes there. Even a couple guys that passed me, I was able to pass them right back, and I ended up finishing 7th. So to start 5th and to fall back a little bit and come back up to 7th was awesome, especially in that big of a field. I think there was 25 karts in that one too, maybe 26, something like that. So to qualify 5th, finish 7th, and kind of hold my own, and is really, really good. It makes me feel really good. It makes me feel like we're going in the right direction. I was even catching 5th and 6th there at the end of the race. The kart didn't start off super great. I kind of expected to get freight trained, obviously, but it just didn't feel very good. But the longer the race went on, the better and better it got and the faster it felt. So we made a couple of changes after medium since it was heavy, and those obviously seemed to work, and it was really good. And we got better as the race went on instead of getting worse. So that was really cool. Honestly, it's all thanks to Kirk. She's amazing. She's learned a lot. She's learned a lot with tires and prep and reading the track and figuring out what to do and what to adjust and what changes need to be made and like what prep we need to use and what tires we need to be on. And she's done an amazing job at that. She has surpassed me in the skill level, that's for sure. She's a way better crew chief than I am as a driver. I make a lot of mistakes as a driver. I have some really bad habits. Sometimes I'm not aggressive enough. I mess up starts all the time. So I really need to work on my driving and pick up myself and, get up to her level, because she's definitely better than I am right now. And I think, that 5th place qualifying effort and that 7th place run was thanks to her and her decisions and the changes that she wanted to make and, getting rooted out of the way. Maybe it would have happened, maybe it wouldn't have, but, I could have maybe protected my line a little better. And maybe there's a couple passes I could have made sooner, or a few more I could have made just in general if I was a little more aggressive or something, So yeah, she's just done a really, really good job this year. We've gone from basically being Cridersville hack jobs to actually being somewhat competitive. We raced our way into the Floyd and then this year. So I think we're definitely headed in the right direction, and, we're becoming serious contenders, I think. I don't know, maybe I'm jumping ahead of myself. I'm just really excited and really pumped up about this because I'm not used to this. So I don't know. I think it's Kirk. I'd love to see her on a team with, a more skilled driver and more tires and more options and more money, because I think she could take some people to victory lane, just being honest. So yeah, she's far surpassed me. I need to work on my driving and get myself better, because she's the reason we're competing okay in these races now. So anyway, I'm obviously pretty pumped up, so I'm going to stop rambling here, and I hope you enjoy the next video. This was our last race at Wheelersburg for the year. The next race will be at the farm track. I love the farm track. We haven't been there since the springtime this year, so I'm excited to get back. So I'll see you all there, and I hope you enjoyed the video.